I felt dizzy after sipping my tea. I knew it. My husband was trying to drug me. So I did what any sane woman would do. I played dead. My name is Bailey Carter, and I'm 28 years old. This is the story of how I found out the man I loved the most was planning something evil, and how I turned the whole thing around. Let me start from the beginning. Eric and I met 5 years ago. He was tall, handsome, and always smelled like fresh mint and clean soap. He was kind, funny, and smart, a pharmacist with a big heart. At least that's what I thought. We got married quickly. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. Believed it too. I cooked, I cleaned, I supported his business, and I smiled through it all. We didn't have kids yet, but we talked about it every now and then. I thought we were planning a future together. Until little things started to change. First, he started coming home late without calling. He would say, "I had to cover for someone at work." I trusted him. Then I noticed he wouldn't let me touch his phone anymore. I asked, and he smiled and said, "You don't need to worry yourself with boring pharmacist stuff." I smiled back, but my heart felt weird. And then came the tea. Every night, Eric would bring me a cup of warm chamomile tea. He said it would help me sleep. I thought it was sweet, at first. But after 2 weeks of drinking it, something strange started happening. One night, just 30 minutes after I drank the tea, my head felt heavy. My arms were weak. It felt like I couldn't even lift my phone. I thought I was just tired. But it happened again the next night. And the night after that. I told Eric, "This tea makes me super sleepy. What's in it?" He laughed. "Just chamomile. You've been working too hard, babe." But I had a weird feeling in my stomach, not the kind that comes from bad food. The kind that comes from fear. One morning I went into the kitchen to clean the cups. I noticed some white powder at the bottom of mine. I checked the bin, and found a crushed pill wrapped in a tissue. I held it in my hand, heart pounding. I didn't say anything to him. I just smiled and kissed him goodbye when he went to work. But that night I decided to test something. Eric brought me my usual tea. He handed it to me with a kiss on the forehead. I watched him walk out of the room. Then I quietly went to the kitchen and switched our cups. I placed mine where his usually goes and his where mine does. Then I called him. "Hey babe, your tea is here." He came into the room, picked up a cup and paused. Then he smiled and said, "Actually, I'm not in the mood for tea tonight. You enjoy it." My heart dropped. He never skipped his tea. That was our little thing. We always drank it together. That's when I knew. He wasn't drinking his tea anymore because he knew what was in it. That night I didn't drink it either. I held the cup close to my lips, then quietly poured a little into a plant next to the couch when he wasn't looking. He smiled at me. "Getting sleepy?" He nodded. "Yeah. Super sleepy." And then I let my body go still. My head dropped back against the cushion. I closed my eyes. And I listened. Eric stood up. I heard his footsteps moving slowly toward me. Then silence. Then a whisper. "Yeah, he's out. Come quickly." My stomach flipped. Who was he talking to? Why did he want them to come quickly? I stayed completely still, my hands resting lightly on my lap, trying not to shake. A few minutes passed, and then I heard the front door open. Soft heels clicking against the floor. A voice. Soft, sweet, and familiar. It was Tina, Eric's assistant. I remembered the way she laughed at his jokes at work parties. The way she touched his arm a little too long. I always thought I was being paranoid. But now I knew better. "She's knocked out?" Tina asked. "Yeah," Eric replied. "This stuff works fast." "What about her phone?" "I'll unlock it with her fingerprint." "Don't worry." I wanted to scream. I wanted to jump up and throw the tea in his face. But I didn't. I kept my eyes closed. And listened. Eric lifted my hand gently and pressed my finger against the screen. I heard my phone unlock. Then a silence. Except for their voices and little beeping sounds. "Okay," Tina said. "I'm in her bank app. Transfer the savings. Then delete the messages." "She's so stupid," Tina giggled. You sure she doesn't suspect? She's clueless, Eric said. She actually trusts me. I felt my heart break into tiny pieces. But I couldn't move. I had to stay still. Had to stay smart. That was when I remembered something. I had an old second phone in the drawer next to the couch. I kept it there in case of emergencies. With one hand, very slowly and quietly, I reached into the drawer and pulled it out under the blanket. With the other hand still in my lap, I opened the camera. I pressed record. The light was off. The sound was on. And just like that, I was collecting evidence. I didn't know what they were planning exactly, but now I knew this. They were stealing from me. They were laughing about it. And they were working together. That night after they left, I waited 2 more hours before opening my eyes. I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, holding the second phone to my chest. And I whispered to myself, Bailey, you're not stupid. You're strong. And now, it's your turn. I didn't sleep at all that night. I just lay there, staring into the darkness, my hands clutching the phone that held the recording. My heart felt like a big drum beating too loud in my chest. But I didn't cry. Not yet. By morning I knew one thing. I had to keep pretending. If Eric thought I knew, he might try something worse. If I showed fear, they might speed up whatever plan they had. So I had to stay quiet. I had to keep acting like the silly little wife who just wanted to cuddle and drink tea. The next morning, Eric brought me breakfast in bed. Pancakes just the way I liked them. Sleep well, he asked, smiling. I looked at him and said, like a baby. He leaned down and kissed my forehead. Good. You've been so tired lately. I smiled, but inside my head I was screaming. That day, while he was at work, I played the recording over and over again. Their voices were so clear. Tina even laughed and said, she's so stupid. I pressed pause and whispered, not stupid. Not anymore. Then I got to work. I backed up the video on a cloud folder. I gave it a boring name, something like Grocery List 3. That way, Eric would never suspect it if he snooped around. I also saved it to a secret USB stick and hid it inside an old shampoo bottle under the sink. The next night, Eric brought me tea again. I looked at the cup and smiled. Thank you, babe. Then, just like before, I pretended to drink it. I tilted it near my lips, took a fake sip, and let the warm liquid slide down the cup's edge and onto my sleeve when he wasn't looking. Waited. 20 minutes later, I let my head fall against the armrest. My breathing slowed. I let my mouth hang open just a little, like I was deep in sleep. Eric got up and walked over. He waved a hand in front of my face. Nothing. He leaned close. I could smell the mint again. But this time it made me sick. Then I heard him whisper, she's out again. Bring the rest. I almost gasped. The rest. I stayed still. A few minutes passed. The door opened. Tina again. But this time, someone else came in too. Man. I didn't recognize his voice, but he sounded nervous. You sure she's not gonna wake up? She never does, Eric said. This stuff knocks her out cold. Tina laughed. She's practically a zombie at this point. What do I need to do? The man asked. Take the papers from her drawer. The ones about her late grandma's land. We need to sign the transfer. My heart nearly exploded. My grandma's land. She left it to me before she died. It was worth millions now. I was planning to build a women's shelter there someday. Eric told me he wasn't interested in that land. Said it was too far, too messy, too old. He lied. I felt tears sting the corners of my eyes, but I didn't move. Not even a twitch. They rummaged through the drawer next to me. The one with my second phone. I prayed they didn't see the charger cord poking out. But they were too busy searching for papers. Finally, Tina said, here it is. Eric replied, perfect. Let's scan it and forge the signature tonight. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My husband was not only drugging me. He was planning to steal everything. My savings, my land, my trust. And with the help of the woman he always said was just a friend. When they left, I stayed still for another hour just in case. Then I slowly sat up. I didn't even cry. I felt something different, like a fire inside my stomach. That was the moment I stopped being afraid. I started planning. The next morning I acted like everything was fine. I even made Eric breakfast. He kissed me on the cheek and said, "You're glowing today." I said, "That tea really helped." He smiled. And I smiled too, because I knew his time was almost up. I started making copies of everything. The land documents, our bank statements, emails I had from the past, and photos of the crushed pills I found. I downloaded a secret app that records sound whenever someone speaks near my phone, even if the screen is off. Every night, I placed my phone near the couch and faked drinking the tea. Every night they came in and did something worse. I recorded it all. One night Tina said, "Let's sell the land quick before she finds out." Another time Eric said, "She's too weak to fight even if she does." I even caught them on audio talking about how to make the drug stronger. That night, I locked myself in the bathroom and whispered into the mirror, "You're not going to die. You're going to win." The next step was the police. I walked into the station and asked to speak with someone in private. I played them the recording. The officer, a tall woman with kind eyes, looked me in the face and said, "This is serious. But we need video proof, faces, actions, clear intent. You bring us that, and we'll take them down." That's when I knew what I had to do. I needed one final trap. I needed to make sure the whole world would see what kind of man Eric really was. So I called a friend of mine, a tech guy named Jordan who owed me a favor. He helped me set up tiny cameras inside the living room, in the lamp behind the TV and one near the couch. They were hidden, tiny, motion triggered, and they would send video straight to my cloud drive. That week, I also moved the money I had left into a new secret account under my cousin's name. I put the original land papers in a lockbox and gave them to my friend at the bank. I deleted every text, cleared every file, and erased all clues from my phone. I was ready. I just needed one final night. The night I would serve the tea my way. By the time the sun rose the next day, I had already planned every second of what I was going to do. 4 days now, I had been acting like I was weak, like I couldn't think clearly, like I was slipping away slowly, just how Eric wanted me to look. He didn't know I was sharper than ever. Each morning, I stared at him like I was in love. But in my head, I was going over the steps of my plan like a soldier going into battle. He smiled. He kissed me. Kissed him back. He said, "I love you." I said, "I love you more." But inside me, I was screaming, "Just wait, Eric. One more night." That week, I worked hard behind the scenes. I opened a new vault account at the bank, in my cousin's name. I gave her the passwords and instructions. I moved every naira I had into that account, even the money I made from my small online business, which Eric didn't know about. I took the land papers, the real ones, and handed them to Mr. Obi, the old lawyer who had helped my grandmother years ago. I told him, "Don't give this to anyone unless I'm standing right in front of you." He looked confused, but he nodded. "I will keep it safe, Bailey." Then I called my friend Jordan again. "Make sure the camera is working," I whispered into the phone. "This has to catch every single second." "It's all set," he said. "The moment someone moves in that room, the feed starts recording and sends the footage straight to your cloud drive. No one can stop it." "Thank you," I said. He paused. "Are you sure you're safe?" I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were tired, but my soul was awake. "Not yet. But I will be." Each night I kept pretending to drink the tea. I poured it into plants, into the sink, even into the toilet once. But I always acted like it made me sleepy. I always let my head fall to the side, eyes closed, breathing soft. And they always came. Eric and Tina. Talking. Stealing. Laughing. One night I heard her say, "I can't wait till she's gone." And Eric said, "Then the house, the land, the money, everything will be ours." I recorded all of it. I saved everything. But I didn't cry anymore. Not even a little. 'Cause I was done being scared. The night of the trap finally came. I waited until Eric was in the shower. Then I went to the kitchen and prepared 2 cups of tea. One was normal. The other one, I slipped in the same crushed pill I found in the trash. The exact same one he had been giving me. I stirred it slowly, watching the powder disappear. Then I marked the bottom of the cup with a tiny scratch. Only I would know. I brought both cups to the living room. I set them on the table and sat down, waiting. Eric came out, drying his hair. "Wow," he said. "You made tea tonight." Smiled. Thought I'd return the favor. He picked up a cup, the marked one. Just like I hoped. I watched him sip it. Slowly. Casually. As if nothing in the world could ever touch him. And I wanted to laugh because tonight he was the one being drugged. Waited. 10 minutes passed. He blinked. Rubbed his eyes. Shook his head. "Ugh," he mumbled. "I feel weird." I stood up slowly. "Do you?" He looked at me. Confused. Eyes blinking faster now. What did you?" He collapsed on the couch. Still breathing. Still conscious. But frozen. His body limp. His speech slurred. Exactly how I had been feeling every night. I knelt beside him and whispered, "Now you know what it feels like." Then I picked up his phone. Opened his messages. Typed one quick text to Tina. "She's out. Come now." Then I sat back, turned the hidden camera toward the couch. And waited. 20 minutes later the door opened. Tina walked in, dressed in her usual tight blouse and fake smile. "Wow," she said, seeing Eric. "You weren't kidding. She's really gone tonight, huh?" I stepped out from behind the curtain. Tina froze. Her eyes went wide. "Bailey," smiled. "Welcome to my tea party." What is this? Where's Eric?" "He's fine," I said. "A little sleepy but fine. Why don't you take a seat?" She stepped back. I don't know what's going on." "Oh, you don't?" Held up my phone. "Then maybe you can explain this." Played the audio. Her voice came out loud and clear. "She's so stupid. Let's sell the land quick before she finds out." Her face turned white. "Where is this coming from? This is fake." I picked up the remote and pointed to the TV. A live camera feed appeared on the screen. Eric was slumped on the couch, barely moving. The timestamp was current. The whole scene was being recorded. Tina turned to run. I locked the door. "You're not going anywhere," I said. "The police are on their way. You can't do this. You have no proof." I walked closer and whispered, "I have everything. The videos, the messages, your faces, your voices, and this room." I pointed to the lamp. "It's recording everything right now." She sank to the floor. "Please," she cried. "Bailey, it wasn't me. It was all Eric. He made me do it." Eric groaned on the couch. "Don't believe her." "Oh, I don't," I said. "I don't believe either of you anymore." Then I opened my livestream app. With one tap, the camera feed started broadcasting. Within seconds, I had over 3,000 viewers. People were commenting, "What's going on? She drugged him. OMG, this is real." And I looked straight into the lens and said, "My name is Bailey Carter. I've been drugged for weeks by my husband and his assistant. Tonight I decided to switch the tea. Everything you're seeing is real. And justice starts now." I stood there, holding my phone steady as thousands of people watched live. My heart beat fast, but my hands didn't shake. Eric was still slumped on the couch. His body half limp, half aware. His mouth moved slowly like he wanted to speak, but couldn't. Tina sat on the floor, crying, her hands covering her face. The live stream comments were flooding in. "Is this real? Call the police. She's a genius." I didn't need to call the police. Already had. Before I gave Eric the tea, I sent my location and the live stream link to the officer I met at the station, the kind-eyed woman who told me, "Bring proof." And I did. I turned the camera to Tina. "Tell them what you did," I said. She shook her head. I didn't mean." I raised my voice, calm but strong. Tell them how you helped him steal from me. Tell them how you laughed while you drained my bank account. Tell them how you tried to forge my grandma's land papers. Okay, she shouted. Yes, I did it, all right. He told me to. He said you'd never know. He said you were just in the way. Eric mumbled. You idiot. Tina whipped around. Don't call me that. You said this would be easy. I looked into the camera again. This is what betrayal looks like. And this is what fighting back looks like. Just then, knock, knock, knock. 3 loud knocks at the door. Tina jumped. That's the police, isn't it? I opened the door and yes, there they were. 2 officers, including the woman who had spoken to me before. She stepped inside, glanced at Eric, then Tina, then me. I watched the whole thing, she said. Are you okay? He nodded. I am now. She nodded back, then turned to the other officer and said, take both of them in. Get them processed. Wait, what? Tina shouted. No. She set us up. The officer snapped handcuffs onto her wrists. Yeah. And thank God she did. Eric was barely moving as they pulled him up. Bailey, he groaned. You can't do this. I leaned close and whispered. You tried to erase me. But I erased you instead. They dragged him out. The door closed. And for the first time in months, I was free. The days that followed moved quickly. The video went viral. 10 million views in a week. People messaged me from around the world. Some cried. Some said I was their hero. Some told me they were going through something similar. I was shocked but also proud. I never thought my story would help others. Eric was officially charged with drugging, theft, fraud, and attempted property transfer. Tina too. Turns out this wasn't the first time they tried something like this. But it was the last. Because this time they picked the wrong woman. I filed for divorce immediately. Eric didn't even show up to court. I won everything. The house, car, the remaining money. But none of that mattered as much as the one thing I still had. My land. The papers were safe. And now I had a new plan. Instead of letting that land sit untouched, I decided to finally build what Grandma and I once dreamed of. A place for women who had nowhere else to go. Shelter. Safe house. I called it the Tea House. Funny name, I know. But to me, tea will always mean 2 things. Danger. And power when the cup is in the right hands. One day I got a message from a girl. She wrote, Bailey, my boyfriend has been drugging me too. I thought I was going crazy. Your video saved my life. Thank you. I cried when I read it. Then I replied, you're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not alone. Now I speak to rooms full of women. I tell them about my story. I show them the recordings, the live stream, the moment I took my life back. And I tell them something I wish someone had told me long ago. If something feels wrong, it usually is. If you feel dizzy, open your eyes wider. And never sip the tea until you know who boiled it. Changed my last name. Not because I was ashamed, but because I didn't want to carry his name anymore. I changed it to Bailey Hope. 'Cause hope is what saved me. Hope, and a very smart plan. Now I wake up every day and sip my own tea. I sit on my porch, breathe the clean air, and feel the sun on my face. I no longer wonder what Eric is doing. I no longer feel scared when I hear the front door open. I no longer fake my sleep. Because I'm awake now. Truly awake. And I'll never close my eyes on betrayal again. So if you're listening to this, and something inside you feels off, don't ignore it. If you're scared, don't shrink. If someone tells you you're overthinking, keep thinking, keep watching, keep recording. And one day when the time is right, set your trap. Because no matter how sweet their tea may taste, the truth always leaves a bitter aftertaste when served cold. My name is Bailey. I'm 28 years old. And this was my tea party. And I ended it. Don't forget to tell me where you are watching from. Follow for more revenge stories.